Hania Mohib of Egypt has come to the United Nations to fight for the rights of women. At a rally marking the second anniversary of Egypt's revolution, she was surrounded by men and sexually assaulted.
Tens of hands were in every inch of my body. My clothes were, fell all over. And I was screaming all the time. I couldn't even say words, just screaming.
The theme of this year's Commission on the Status of Women is preventing violence against women. Some countries, like Egypt, are fighting to change international agreements to make allowances for culture and tradition.
If you qualify rights by tradition, culture, religion, it means there are no rights, because anybody can say, this is our tradition. After the Arab revolutions, the uprisings and all, there has been a great movement backwards on women's rights in those countries. And I think a lot of conservative elements in the guise of pro-democracy elements have hijacked that agenda.
That agenda is now being pushed at the United Nations.
The international community first committed to a strong framework for women's rights at a landmark conference in Beijing back in 1995. Since then, that framework has been used to pressure governments to uphold women's rights. Now, women's groups say that if these delegates make exceptions for culture and tradition, it will reverse those hard-fought gains.
Russia and the Vatican also favor such language. Egyptian representatives didn't respond to Al Jazeera's request for comment. Russia's ambassador said this.
From your question, I can assume, I'm afraid, that you do not respect traditions and culture.
Since Mohib went public with her assault, dozens of women have come forward to describe similar attacks.
What happened to me was political, was organized, was systematic, and definitely paid for by certain political groups who want to keep women away from the streets.
Women's advocates have come out in force to make their case to delegates. They have until next week to prevent what they see as a step backwards for women. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, the United Nations.